The Tamiya TL-01, one of the most versatile chassis from Tamiya, and one of my favorites. Yes, we're back, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're here to talk about one of the best 10-scale chassis from Tamiya, the TL-01. It's an enclosed gear train, 4-wheel, shaft-driven, independent suspension, electric chassis. And now, you're going to watch me turn one into a retro stadium truck while we talk about it. Now, I use the word chassis instead of the word TL-01 because it eventually released in multiple variations. The original, the buggy version, which had longer arms and shafts, the truck version, which had different shocks, I believe, and lastly, the newest addition to the family was the TL-01 LA, which stands for long arm. And this one really modernized it by providing proper on-road touring car geometry. Although many considered it to be more of a fun chassis with low performance, especially compared to today's standards, it's no slouch with a touch of work. Released alongside a slew of optional parts, such as sway bars, lightweight chassis, hollow gear shafts, carbon propeller shaft, speed tune gears, just to name a few. And pair all that with some CVA shocks, and you've got quite the club race in your hands. Or drifter, or stadium truck, or buggy. You could have your cake and eat it too. Don't mind me while I take a quick food break. Alright, let's get back to work. The original chassis holds a seriously sentimental spot in my heart. It in fact was the first Tamiya and also my first true hobby-grade RC. Let's tell you quickly how that started for me. It was summer of 1996 when my cool uncle pulls into our driveway in a white Honda Civic Si. So much cooler than our red Honda Civic CX. That is the uncle I have to thank for my biggest RC step. That was the summer he started taking me for regular visits to the corner store with him while he picked up his smokes and lotto tickets. I always was excited to go with him because that meant I was getting candy, pop, and chips. That is until near the end of that summer, when on one visit, I happened to glance over at the magazine rack, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Entire magazines on toy cars. Oh my gosh. I quickly put all my snacks and pop away and beelined it to the magazine rack and grabbed a copy of RC Car Action, August issue 1996, with the biggest smile I could ever remember. Up until that moment, I had no idea RC magazines existed. I had only ever pressed my face against windows to look inside a single hobby shop, rarely stepping foot inside. Too expensive, we don't want to touch it or break anything, was the response I'd get from my parents. There was a shop in Chinatown, Toronto, in the same building my parents used to get some groceries from, and next to a couple of others. And you can bet yourself that every time we went down there, I would stand and stare the whole time. And they would shop, get their groceries. Well, after that point, I no longer stood and stared. I could sit and read and stare at the pages. Pages of a full-color magazine. And then let's quickly fast forward into the future. In June 1998, when we received our first family PC, the Compact Presario. That was my second way to gorge myself on RC content. I spent hours and hours on websites like Tamiya, Traxxas, Duratrax, Yokomo, HPI Racing, all the way up until August of that year. I believe the shop was called Planes and Things in Ottawa, Canada. I don't quite fully remember. It was where my older cousin took me to the shop to buy my very own Tamiya TL-01 Ford Lightning SVT kit. Man, I miss my mechanical speed control with that plastic dust cover. RC became more of my life than I could see with my own eyes. I was obsessed from there. But that's a story for another time.
Is that your mini masking tape for your cars?
It's not mini.
It is?
It's 6 millimeters.
But it is mini.
It's just masking tape.
No. Well, look at it compared to like a real one. It's mini. It's so cute. Oh my god. It's mini.
It's not cute, it's just 6mm masking tape.
It's super mini. It feels like a dollhouse kind of thing.
This is less cool now. Fast forward one last time, but this time to today's date, in 2021. And here I am. Since ridding all of my RCs in 2012, I have reacquired a lot of what I'd gotten rid of this year. These TL-01s that I started with at the beginning are enough to satisfy me for now. I picked up 4 chassis, and out of that I was able to make 3 working ones. A retro stadium truck, 2 rally cars. I love this chassis for rally because of the enclosed gear train and the suspension travel it can provide. As you can probably guess by now, the TL-01 is no longer in production at the time of making this video. It hasn't been for 18 years. The last model released being something I very much regret not picking up in 2002, the Martini liveried Ford Focus WRC rally car. Although at the time of writing this, I'm getting a feeling that it's going to get re-released, maybe on the newer entry-level chassis such as a TT02. However, it'd make me ridiculously happy if they reread the TL-01. Many, many, many of us who still run these want parts and love the chassis very much. And as we near the end of my video, let's wrap up a couple of points on my favorite chassis of all time. One of my favorite chassis of all time. The Tamiya TL-01 was out from 1998 to 2002 and was offered in approximately 30 different body styles. There was even a cool Dakar looking body that was never released. Pretty cool, right? Thanks to Tamiya Base for documenting all of these. If you've got one and need parts, at the time of writing this, I urge you to check rcmart.com and Plaza Japan. Those are 2 spots that I've ordered parts from. And that's it for the TL-01, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to cut into looking at the stadium truck now. Join me again next video. Bye!